The other night I experienced sleep paralysis for the first time. Be me. Dreaming about shooting a kamehameha at shadow people. Wake up. Can't move my body. Oh fuck, it's happening. Get that intruder feeling. Can't get image of a tall shadow figure in my room staring at me out of my head. Trying to move my limbs. Leg kicks. It was kind of fun, not gonna lie. Don't know what was different about that night that made it happen though. Also I sleep with an eye mask on because of street lamps, so I didn't see anything.
Be me. Be 8 years old. Door is still open and the light is turned on in the floor. Look at the wall opposite of the door. See apparition of a boy with a cap playing with a shadow ball on the wall. Basically he is just a shadow. Look towards the door, there is nothing. Saw him every night until I moved out of that room.
Be me, 2020. Fall asleep next to wife around midnight. Dream about sitting in the middle of the desert, feels lonely. Start looking around. Surrounded by several other men about my age. We're all wearing tactical kit, carriers, rigs, helmets, and all have out rifles on our laps. Start feeling scared as an old native man covered in furs speaks to us in a language I don't understand. We sit in a horseshoe shape and he's on the opposite side of the fire speaking to us. He has a cane type thing with a large talon on the end. I'm bowing my head listening to his words, trying to figure out what he's speaking when he says my name. Look up, I'm awake, in my bedroom, but he's standing in the corner of the room with my hand out holding his talon cane pointing to me. Sitting up in bed he dematerializes. I've had similar dreams since, but the native guy always stays in the dream now. Haven't seen him IRL again since. Don't know if it was because of all the uncertainty happening in life at the time with all that was happening in late 2020 or what, but I remember that dream more vividly than any other of my dreams since I really barely ever do dream, or at least I barely ever remember any of my dreams. Whenever that dreams returns it's always very similar.
Be me. Dumb high schooler. Dating a GF. Lot of drama around that. Anon, I gotta show you something. Hang out, she explains that she discovered she can do things. What things? I can make people think what I think, when I look into their eyes. Tells me she got a free stuff at BK, laughs. Yeah sure buddy. Gif. No RLY. Okay, do it to me. Fine. Look into Femanon's eyes. I'm in the driver's seat of my car. Suddenly I'm staring at my steering wheel. The wipers are on. Look over. She's sheepish. I'm in shock. What did you make me do? Turn on the windshield wipers. I can also erase people's memories. Later we talk on the phone. Anon, did you hear that? Hear what? That noise. No noise heard. Ask about noise. Silence plus more silence. Start to freak out. Comes back. Hey, where were you? What happened? WYDM. The noise. What noise are you talking about? I didn't hear a noise. Completely serious. This happens multiple times over time. Suddenly, tune changes about the whole thing, after noise stuff has been going on. Anon, never tell anyone about this. Why? I keep seeing visions of some white van taking me away. Insists there is some kind of para-government group that takes people away. Fem isn't into conspiracies, doesn't know shit about them, can't really articulate anything past they'll take me away forever. To sum up, super psychic GF who could read minds with ease. Apparently I think loudly. She used this to cheat at trivia board games, always really pissed me off. LOL, push thoughts, would think a thought in first person while maintaining eye contact. I want to give this chick my wallet, erase some memories, locate items from a distance, and see into the immediate future, fuzzy long distance stuff.
I used to experience sleep paralysis all the time as a kid. I used to sleep in a room with my dad and brother, my bed facing the hallway. I would see a shadow person peering at me, just barely visible. I would always try shouting to my dad over and over again, but it never worked, and it always felt like it took hours before it ended. It must have happened dozens of times. On Monday night I experienced it again. Same house, but now I have my own room. Anyway, I was sleeping on my back and I felt this intense fear and a feeling that something powerfully malevolent was in the room with me. I prayed something like this: I pray to the Lord that any spirit or demon that is in the room right now is driven out and I can rest peacefully. After a very short time, maybe something like 10 seconds, the feeling of fear and dread left me and I went back to sleep. If anyone has any thoughts, please say. I usually don't post, but given Ops post on sleep paralysis, I figured I should contribute.
I think my new apartment bedroom is haunted. I keep getting sleep paralysis and having to deal with some sort of entity. Just last night. Be me. Trying to fall asleep. Suddenly I'm awake again in my bed. Suddenly sleep paralysis for the 7th time in the last 2 months. Fuck. However, prayers work yet again. Sleep paralysis ends. Suddenly my father, my sister, and my brother walk into the room. My dad says something like, "Anon, get up, this is no time for make-believe fantasies. WTF.jpg. All 3 leave my apartment bedroom. I follow them. They plus the 3 other members of my family are sitting around my kitchen table. They are all in a strange pose, like a see no evil type pose / similar to the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth. Suddenly they stop. "Ah," my father said, "nice of you to join us, Patrick." They begin eating dinner and talking to each other or something but ignoring me. My father calls me over. "Anon, check this out." Shows me a video on his cell phone. It's a space theme hotel for kids. In the video they were experiencing some sort of zero-gravity ride, making joyous screams. Finally it all clicks. "Thanks for the video, Dad," I said, poking him. My father looks at me quizzically. He's suddenly very sweaty. He knows I know. "Why are you so sweaty?" I asked. He doesn't know what to say. "And why is your arm so big?" His arm had suddenly doubled in size. The facade was over, his true face revealing itself. The entity was now very angry at me. Take a swing and socked the thing right in the face. Wake up in bed, victorious. Nobody fakes being my dad. Damn, that felt good.
More like a collective paranormal phenomenon that I don't know how to explain. Be me. Around 10 years old. Playing with my Hot Wheels on my car wash track. Shit is good. "Anon, can you please go upstairs and get whatever clothes for me? Shit gotta go." Walk upstairs. Pass in front of uncle's room, lived with us but was at work when this happened. See out of the corner of my eye a dude laying in my uncle's bed. Green polo, ripped pants, barefoot, short brown curly hair. "What are you doing in my room? Get out." Realize what the fuck I just saw. Go back and check. Nothing, it's gone. Didn't make anything of it. Get clothes for mom and continue playing. Would be kind of a throwaway story if not for what happened later that night to both my uncle and our neighbors. Be uncle. Sleeping past midnight. Get woken up by a sudden change of atmosphere. Air is heavier, gets harder to breathe, and start feeling hot. Trying my best just to catch my breath. Suddenly feel something get on top of me. What the fuck is going on? .jpg. Feels like there is a big dog laying on top of my belly. Can hear very faint deep growls. Too scared to move but get the courage and pull my blanket enough to cover my face. Thing on top of me gets startled and jumps off. For some reason reach out with hand to try to feel it. Grab what it feels like a lion's tail. Short-haired with a hairy end. Finally air clears up and I feel relaxed. Sleep. Like I said, there is sides to this. Be neighbors to the right. Past midnight. All family is sleeping. Suddenly start hearing loud noises in the kitchen. Violently dragging chairs. Crashing plates and glasses onto the floor. Fuck horrigid and grabbed. Grab the bat underneath bed. Stay silent to catch the fucker off guard. See a black silhouette moving fast in the kitchens. Ha, I got you now, fucker. Turn on lights. Silhouette vanishes with the light. Kitchen is tidy, no broken plates, chairs where they should be. Another one from the same night. Be neighbor on the front. Be a neat junkie. Live with mom because I'm cool like that. Decide to blaze some shit past midnight like usual. Go up to the balcony and light up joint. See giant black purple mass of fog on top of neighbor's house. Orb is bouncing violently on top of the house. Feel extremely uneasy. Put out my cig and went to sleep with mom. All of this happened on the same night, and I'm pretty sure more people on our street got their own stuff to share, but those are the ones that I know of, so it's very hard to rationalize these into something more ordinary because we got apparitions, poltergeist, orbs, a fucking lion-tailed demon, I don't know. We called a very devoted saint old woman and she came in later that night to pray over the houses and pour holy water, and thankfully it never happened again. According to her it was a witch, but you just never know.
Be me. Go to sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night. Eyes adjusted to dark room. Try to go back to sleep like normal. I see my ceiling fan spinning. Try to close my eyes but realize they are already closed. Close them tighter, thinking my eyelids are slightly open. Still see the ceiling fan. Huh? Sit up confused. Confirm I'm not dreaming or anything. Close my eyes sitting up and still seeing my room. Wardrobe, chair, bed, etc., just looking everywhere. Completely cover my face with my hands. I still see everything perfectly, as far as dark adjusted eyes can see. Too tired to figure out what's going on. Lay back down and close my eyes. Watch my ceiling fan through my eyelids until I fall asleep. This has only happened once and never again in my life. Failed to find any explanation on it.
Sleep paralysis thread? Be me. Get woken up with a start a few times a night. Sometimes paralyzed and sometimes not. Always see an arachnid of some kind with its ventriloquist-like movements. Get the psychic image of a human eye watching me and know it's affixed to the creature. It varies in size but always has hundreds of legs and is inky black in color, like an oil slick. Occasionally I'll wake up and open my eyes and all I can see is a purple mist with diamond-shaped web weaved in it, and a menacing feeling that something's hiding there. Recently I've started to have incidents while I'm awake. See things moving out of the corner or my eye, accompanied by the sound of verminous scuttling. On Tuesday I seen a spider on the floor at work. It crawled to daze me. I hit it with a notebook and the notebook phased through it. The spider remained for a few seconds before dissipating. Be warned that this shit can follow you beyond sleep if you let it.
I've been meaning to Greentext this for years, but never gotten around to it. I had a series of 4 to 5 dreams from late 2015 to early 2017, I was 25 to 27 at the time, in which I would encounter and struggle with a small black demon. The demon in question sort of resembled pig-related. I imagine that I saw the image on 4chan and it prompted the series of dreams. I can only remember the first and last dreams with any specificity. Late 2015. Living by myself in an apartment complex in Alaska. Have a dream where the small black demon appears and chases me. Doesn't say anything during the dream, but I realize that whatever his intent is, it isn't good. Wake up, scared and thirsty. Go to the kitchen to get some water. Hear a knock at the door. It's 2 a.m. or so this is odd. Grab a knife, check the peephole. It's the demon from my dream. I am obviously still dreaming. Suddenly find myself in bed mind wrestling with the demon. The best I can explain mind wrestling is that I was straining every muscle in my body physically to try and exert mental energy to ward off the demon. He was presumably doing the same to me. His face appears in my mind's eye. I can't tell if I'm winning or losing. Suddenly, I wake up. I'm halfway off my bed, and feel sore from clenching my entire body trying to do this mind wrestling thing. Sleep the rest of the night with my pistol beside me. There were 2 to 3 more dreams following a similar pattern in the interim. I'll continue in another post, too much text to fit at once. As I said, 2 to 3 more dreams pass, very similar to the first, but I don't remember much about them. The last time I encountered the little black demon was early 2017. Dreaming about being on a family vacation / reunion or high school reunion. Staying in an old motel. Go out to get ice from the hallway. Get lost, the motel is a giant labyrinth. Open a double door into a new hallway. Very long hallway, about as long as a football field. Demon is standing at the far end, begins running after me. I run, get chased through a series of hallways and stairwells. Get cornered, the mind's eye thing happens again where I see the demon's face in my mind. I realize that I'm going to have to mind wrestle him again. Instead, turn and lay hands on the demon. Get on top of him, able to physically overpower him. Smash the back of his head into the tile floor repeatedly, he gradually stops struggling. Keep going until his head is mashed and unrecognizable. Breathing heavy, stand up, people are around me. Ask me what I did to him, I wake up before I can reply. I woke up breathing heavy and feeling tired but hopeful. I've never seen the little black demon again, but I think about him every now and again. Looking at the picture from the previous post gives me goosebumps even though it's not an entirely accurate representation. This is the only paranormal seeming thing that has ever happened to me.
I've seen a UFO before, this is real too with no bullshit. This happened probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and this was a really fucking close encounter too. Posted it here before. I'm not good at writing though, so bear with me, but I'm also not going to spare any details, because like I said, no bullshit. I'll give you the exact location, the time it happened might be scuffed though. I'm 22 now, closer to 23, so I was roughly 15. Be 15-year-old me. Live in Wales, a country in the UK, it's close to England. I lived with my mother, my younger sister and my mother's husband at the time, who I'll call John. We have a caravan in England, in a caravan park called Bray Sands. We'd visit it on some weekends, was a couple hours drive. I hated it because there was no Wi-Fi, and my mother and John would usually spend all their time at a bar called the Seagull, so I had the duty of keeping an eye on my sister while they got pissed up all night on beer. This happened almost every day there. We'd later get a taxi back to the caravan really fucking late at night, probably around 12 midnight. Be at the Seagull. It's getting really late, so I convince my mother to call a taxi back as usual. We get to the entrance of the caravan park. It looked like a maze of branching paths through trees which lead to lines of caravans. On this night the park was engulfed in thick fog, which wasn't too unusual. UK has shit weather. We exit the taxi from the same place we usually do, marked on the pic related which I illustrated in paint to the best of my memory. The four of us walk to the caravan through the fog. When we get closer to it though I see lights through the fog, really close to our caravan and wonder what the fuck it is. At this stage my mother is absolutely wasted as usual. John is holding up better though. I ask him what the lights are and he doesn't know. We get closer to the lights, as they're between us and our caravan, probably only like 5 meters away. This is undeniably a UFO. It looks like a cartoon sort of stereotypical depiction of a flying saucer, and it's not that far from the ground, it's just hovering in place close to our caravan amidst the fog. From memory it was a large circular flying saucer with a big white light in the middle, and other lights around the circumference as depicted in pic related. I can't think of any other distinguishing details of it. We could only see this from below, and I think the lights around the middle larger light may have orbited around it like it was spinning, however I'm not certain about this. It happened a long time ago, but I remember some motion to it despite it being seemingly stationary. At this point we had all gathered under it to look at it. My mother was completely out of it drunk, and my sister was just a little kid, so I was in awe clarifying with John that we were actually looking at a UFO. I make sure John gets his phone out so we can get a picture of the UFO, my mother gets her phone out too, but I'm looking through John's as I don't trust her to get a good picture. It looks completely illegible through the phone, as it's really dark out, with fog everywhere through a shitty old phone camera, which makes me really frustrated. My mother and John finish taking the shittiest quality photos of this UFO, and then my mother starts to drunkenly shout, "Aliens, aliens. Come and get me." This causes fear to set in, as I realize we are all directly below a fucking UFO, and now my mother is shouting at it, so I grab her hand and pull her towards the caravan, which we all get inside. As it's late we all go to bed. I lay in my bed and my mind is racing thinking about aliens coming out and killing us, which keeps me awake for hours. The UFO wasn't actually making any noise while it was in place outside, and throughout the night I couldn't hear anything out of the ordinary. Next day, it's gone. I remind my mother and John, who are now more sober about the UFO, and we check the photos, which are useless, illegible. The most annoying thing is neither of them cared. It was just like haha, oh yeah. The UFO. They weren't interested at all. Anyway, this has been in the back of my mind for years. There was a period where I'd recite this experience to my friends, who obviously wouldn't believe me, understandably, and since then I've asked my mother now and again about it, who still doesn't really care. At one point I searched for any UFO experts in the UK area that I could talk to about it, and ended up emailing somebody who had a website and published UFO-related fluff. He emailed back saying there has been reports in the Bray and Sands area, but then asked for me to fill in a UFO form or something, which I ignored. Around a year ago I went to a pub with my mother, and we were reminiscing over beers about places and people, and I brought this up again, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've probably still got a picture of that on my old phone." So I asked, "Don't you think about that?" "I think about it all the time. There could be aliens, or it could be the government. Isn't it scary?" And she responded with something like, "I've got better things to worry about than aliens, anon." So that's that. Today was just another day where it's been on my mind, so I found the most relevant least dead thread, LMAO, all/x/threads are dead, might post this again sometime. Still haven't become a tinfoil hat schizo, but still have no clarity. Any anons with ILMAO expertise to impart, or even questions would be appreciated. Thanks for reading.
This happened many years ago, but I have no real explanation for it still. It's quite minor though, so might want to skip if you want something really creepy or deeply strange. Sat in room watching TV on silent with the light off, windows closed. Something whacks the ceiling light with quite a bit of force. Scared the shit out of me. I see a black shape, almost like a bat, dart towards the wall out of the corner of my eye. Switch on the light. The light is swinging still. Look around, no large insects, birds, bats, etc. No gaps I can see they could fit through. What scared me the most is how I thought I saw it go through the wall, that black shape. I looked around and there was nothing though. Maybe it was a bat which got in from my attic through a tiny hole or something. I just couldn't see any and the room was totally sealed.
Not the coolest or most interesting story here, but it's all I've really got. Be me. Like 5 or 6 years old, almost Christmas time. Some carolers are in the neighborhood, and it's snowing. My family went outside to see the carolers, but they'd finally left and stopped singing. Weird light on the wall outside of the house. When I noticed the light, it slid away and disappeared. Looked almost exactly like a sleigh, nothing was pulling it though. Santa? Probably nothing, but it's the best I've got.
The two most disturbing experiences I've had both happened under sleep paralysis. Be 12 years old. Fall asleep on couch in living room because my room freaked me out sometimes. I wake up normally as people do throughout the night, except it feels quite different. I'm lying on my back and I look down to the foot of the couch and there is a tall, dark figure standing right there. At least 7 foot tall, completely black except for red markings on its face. The utter essence of evil. All I can do is look at this demon, no matter how hard I try to move my body or scream for help, he just stares right into my very soul with black, piercing voids for eyes. Genuinely feel like my soul is being taken. This lasts for what feels like 30 minutes until I snap out of, he disappears and I can move. Stay up all night out of terror with my face buried in the cushion. Ask my pastor about it that Sunday, he tells me it was Satan coming to take me because I had been sinning. Second experience. Be 23 years old. That one experience shook me so bad I still slept with my eyes blocked however I could, just so I would never have to see that demon again. I'm falling asleep in my apartment and I start to feel the same sensation I had 11 years ago. Laying on my belly but I can't move, feel a cold, dark presence near me. A frigid finger scratches my heel to my ankle as more fingers join it. A whole hand is gripping my lower leg and another starts to get my other leg. Try to move or scream as hard as I can to no avail. Feel myself being physically dragged by my feet slowly until my legs are dangling off the bed. Eventually gain the willpower to scream Jesus Christ and it all stops in an instant. So yeah, I pray regularly that these two events never appear again in my life. Truly fucking horrifying. I have been told by a somewhat psychic friend that something dark has been following me. God save my soul.